Life, without a doubt, will put you to the test. You are virtually guaranteed to encounter setbacks, experience disappointments, and face moments where it feels as though the entire world is actively working against you. However, the truly important question is this: how precisely will you respond to these adversities? Will you allow life's challenges to break you down, leaving you defeated and demoralized? Or will you, instead, harness those very challenges as opportunities to cultivate strength, gain profound wisdom, and develop unyielding resilience? Today, we are delving into the profound depths of Stoicism. This ancient philosophy offers a remarkable framework for transforming life's most formidable obstacles into invaluable stepping stones toward personal growth and a more fulfilling existence. Therefore, if you are currently feeling the crushing weight of the world upon your shoulders, know that you have arrived at precisely the right place. And if you genuinely appreciate the work we are undertaking here, taking a moment to hit that subscribe button represents a simple, yet profoundly meaningful, and entirely free way for you to show your support and contribute to the continued growth of this community. We earnestly urge you not to skip any portion of today's video. Each carefully curated piece of advice could very well hold the precise key you need to begin turning things around, leading you toward a brighter and more empowered future. Stick with us as we embark on this journey of self-improvement together, fostering an unbreakable spirit and achieving personal triumphs. Change, undeniably, represents one of life's few constants. And yet, for a significant number of us, it also stands as one of the most pervasive and significant sources of stress and anxiety. Why do we find ourselves struggling so intensely with something as fundamentally natural and inevitable as the changing of the seasons? The underlying answer lies not in the changes themselves, but rather in our individual reactions to them, in our ingrained patterns of thought and behavior that dictate how we perceive and respond to the inevitable ebbs and flows of life. Therefore, understanding and mastering our reactions is crucial for navigating life's uncertainties with grace and resilience. Stoicism, a venerable philosophy celebrated for cultivating resilience and fostering a sense of calm when confronted with adversity, presents a compelling methodology for wholeheartedly embracing change. In those inevitable moments when life presents us with something novel or utterly unforeseen, our initial reaction is often one of opposition. This resistance, fundamentally, stems from fear, be it the fear of the unknown, the apprehension of loss, or the dread of failure. However, let us ponder a transformative alternative. What if, instead of resisting, we deliberately leaned into the change? Just envision the sheer amount of energy we would conserve, and the profound sense of inner peace we would cultivate, if we accepted change as an inherent element of life's intricate journey, rather than perceiving it as an unwelcome interruption. Stoicism, in its profound wisdom, instructs us to perceive change not as a menacing threat, but as a golden opportunity for profound personal growth and invaluable learning. Delve into the Stoic concept of amor fati, a phrase that elegantly translates to love of fate. This principle does not advocate for a passive existence, nor does it imply that we should simply resign ourselves to the whims of destiny. On the contrary, it champions a proactive and enthusiastic embrace of whatever life may present. It is about confidently declaring, whatever transpires, I possess the capacity to effectively work with this. It embodies a mindset that adeptly transforms potential obstacles into boundless opportunities for advancement. When you wholeheartedly embrace change in this empowering manner, you inherently align yourself with the natural flow of life, thereby significantly reducing internal conflict and simultaneously amplifying your capacity to adeptly handle whatever challenges the future may hold. Therefore, by adopting this perspective, we not only navigate life's inevitable changes with greater ease but also unlock new avenues for self-discovery and personal evolution. Furthermore, the Stoics emphatically underscore the paramount importance of directing our focus solely towards those aspects of our lives that lie within our sphere of control. This crucial principle allows us to conserve our mental and emotional energy, directing it towards areas where we can effect meaningful change, rather than being consumed by anxieties about matters beyond our influence. This focused approach is pivotal in cultivating a resilient and adaptable mindset, enabling us to thrive even in the face of uncertainty and change. While we can't exert mastery over the timing or method of change's arrival, our reaction to it remains firmly within our dominion. Indeed, it is within this realm of response that true empowerment resides. By deliberately concentrating on our reactions, we effectively regain command over our internal emotional landscape. Consequently, we unlock ourselves to the entire breadth and depth of experiences that life graciously extends. This, of course, doesn't suggest that transformations will invariably be seamless or pleasant. However, our carefully considered response possesses the power to render the passage less fraught with disruption and far more abundantly rewarding. In practical application, embracing change with the adeptness of a seasoned professional necessitates cultivating a pliable mindset and adaptable behaviors. It speaks to the art of preparing oneself for the unforeseen, maintaining composure amidst the enigma of the unknown, and executing strategic pivots when circumstances dictate. Furthermore, it involves relinquishing any tenacious grip on bygone iterations of oneself or outdated aspirations. Instead, it requires a commitment to perpetually updating one's comprehension of their intrinsic identity and the boundless potential of what they can ultimately evolve into. This can manifest in actions as straightforward as recalibrating your daily schedule in acknowledgement of novel demands, or as profoundly significant as altering your chosen career trajectory or pivotal personal connections in ardent pursuit of authenticity and a profound sense of fulfillment. One particularly actionable step that you can adopt is to engage in consistent introspection regarding your lived experiences, particularly those that presented considerable challenges. Through this deliberate reflection, you can extract invaluable lessons and penetrating insights. Thus, we find opportunity in adversity, cultivating resilience and preparing ourselves to navigate the ever-shifting currents of life with greater grace and fortitude. It is in embracing the unknown that we truly discover our capacity for growth and adaptation, transforming potential obstacles into stepping stones on our path to self-discovery. This proactive approach not only enhances our ability to cope with future changes but also enriches our overall sense of well-being and purpose. Embark on a journey of self-discovery by posing profound questions like, what invaluable lesson is this particular situation attempting to impart to me? Or perhaps, in what ways can I personally evolve and mature as a result of this experience? These thoughtful contemplations can profoundly solidify the habit of perceiving change not as a terrifying ordeal, but rather as an integral and advantageous facet of existence. Have you ever unexpectedly found yourself embroiled in the intense crucible of an argument, where words escape your lips uncontrollably, even before you've had a moment to carefully consider their impact? Or perhaps you've been so completely consumed by an overwhelming surge of fear or exhilaration that it feels as though your very emotions are in command, making the decisions instead of you. It is a universal human experience, and we have all been there. And while it is undeniably human to experience emotions with great intensity, allowing these very emotions to dictate your every action can unfortunately lead you down a path of turmoil and disarray. This is precisely where the timeless and profound wisdom of Stoicism can prove to be an absolute game-changer in your life. Stoicism does not advocate for the repression of our feelings, quite the contrary. It serves as a guiding philosophy that teaches us to understand and meticulously manage our emotions. The aim here is to prevent them from overpowering our rational thought processes. The ultimate ambition is to cultivate a form of unshakable mental fortitude. This strength will empower you to confront life's inevitable highs and lows with an unwavering sense of composure and profound understanding. The Stoics held a deep-seated conviction that by achieving mastery over our emotional responses, we can effectively maintain our inner serenity. This inner peace can be preserved even amidst the external chaos that life often presents. Therefore, through self-reflection and emotional regulation, we can cultivate a more resilient and peaceful existence. They serve as a gentle yet firm reminder, echoing through the ages, that each and every one of us possesses the remarkable ability to carefully select our responses to the vast spectrum of feelings that course through us. Let us delve deeper, let us dissect this profound concept. Picture, if you will, a scenario where you are confronted with a particular situation, one that has historically proven to be a trigger, igniting feelings of anger or anxiety within you. The Stoic approach, in its wisdom, would guide you to first and foremost acknowledge the very fact that you are experiencing these potent emotions. This recognition is absolutely crucial, for it serves as the initial, vital step on the path toward personal transformation and growth. Once you have successfully identified the specific emotion that is at play, the subsequent step involves a process of careful questioning, scrutinizing its origin and assessing its validity. Pose to yourself the fundamental questions: why am I feeling this particular way right now? Is my reaction truly proportionate to the situation that I am currently facing? More often than not, you will discover that the raw intensity of your emotion, the sheer power of its grasp, does not entirely align with the cold, hard reality of the event that triggered it. Thus, we begin to see the power of detachment. Another powerful and effective Stoic strategy, one that is often overlooked, is the conscious decision to pause, to create a moment of reflection, before reacting in haste. This pause, this brief respite from impulse, is your most powerful tool, your greatest ally in the battle against unchecked emotion. It is, in essence, a moment of choice, a critical juncture where you reclaim control. Within that fleeting gap, that precious interval between the initial stimulus and your subsequent response, lies your freedom, your inalienable right to choose a more considered, a more rational, and ultimately, a more constructive reaction. This does not, in any way, suggest that you will cease to feel the emotion itself. Rather, it simply empowers you to prevent that emotion from leading you down a path of impulsive actions that you may later regret. For instance, if someone abruptly cuts you off in traffic, a situation that is all too familiar to many, your immediate, instinctive impulse might be to honk your horn angrily, to shout obscenities, or to engage in other forms of road rage. In lieu of an impulsive reaction, a Stoic, steeped in ancient wisdom, would pause, taking a profound breath. They would acknowledge the sudden upwelling of anger, recognizing its potent force, and subsequently choose a more deliberate and considered response, guided by principles of karma and mindful action. Perhaps, with serene detachment, they might even dismiss the inciting event as insignificant within the vast and intricate tapestry of existence. This is the essence of Stoic emotional mastery. This profound practice of carefully managing one's reactions, however, extends far beyond simply mitigating negative emotions. Even the most exhilarating surges of joy or the dizzying heights of excitement can, paradoxically, obscure our rational judgment. Such emotional extremes can, unfortunately, lead to decisions that we may later come to deeply regret. Therefore, the cardinal principle is balance. By diligently maintaining a steady and equanimous emotional state, we ensure that our choices are primarily guided by the unwavering beacon of wisdom and the crystal-clear lens of clarity, rather than being impulsively driven by fleeting and transient feelings. To truly and comprehensively master this transformative habit, it is exceptionally beneficial to actively engage in regular and introspective self-reflection. Take time to thoughtfully reflect on past instances where you have allowed your emotions to seize control, influencing your actions and decisions. Then, carefully consider how you might approach and handle analogous situations differently in the future, drawing on the lessons learned. This vital process of self-assessment can be effectively facilitated through various means, such as the disciplined practice of journaling, the tranquil art of meditation, or simply through quiet and thoughtful contemplation. The underlying idea is to diligently cultivate a habit of mindful awareness that perpetually surrounds and informs your emotional life, promoting greater self-understanding and control. Furthermore, Stoicism profoundly teaches us about the inherent impermanence that characterizes all emotions. They inevitably come and go, much like the ceaseless ebb and flow of waves upon the shoreline. By consciously remembering this fundamental truth, we can proactively avoid becoming overly attached to any particular feeling, whether it be positive or negative. Likewise, we can also avoid being unduly disturbed or overwhelmed by any specific emotion, understanding its temporary nature and its eventual dissipation. This recognition allows us to navigate the emotional landscape with greater resilience and inner peace. We possess the capability to observe our emotions with a degree of detachment, preventing ourselves from being overwhelmed by their intensity. It is possible to cultivate a sense of calm amidst the emotional storms that life inevitably throws our way. Have you ever experienced that sensation of being stretched too thinly, spread out like butter over too much bread, as they say? Perhaps you have found yourself acquiescing to assist with yet another undertaking at your workplace, even as your schedule is already abundantly full to overflowing. Or, perhaps you've reluctantly accepted an invitation to a social engagement, an event that you anticipate with dread, simply because you were unable to refuse, burdened by a sense of misplaced guilt. We have all, at some point or another, found ourselves in similar predicaments. But here's the crux of the matter: distributing yourself too thinly, spreading yourself to exhaustion, does not ultimately benefit you, nor does it extend any real benefit to anyone else. This is precisely where the Stoic principle of establishing robust and unwavering boundaries becomes particularly relevant, imparting to us the profound wisdom that safeguarding our time and preserving our energy is not merely a prudent course of action, but an absolute necessity for the preservation of our overall well-being and mental health. Stoicism, that ancient philosophy of resilience and self-control, underscores the profound importance of living in accordance with the natural order of things, a principle which inherently encompasses a deep understanding of, and a profound respect for, our own inherent limitations. Just as the natural world exhibits its own intrinsic boundaries, the shore that resolutely halts the relentless advance of the sea, the protective bark that faithfully shields the venerable tree from the ravages of the elements, so too must we diligently define and steadfastly defend our own personal boundaries. These boundaries are not intended as instruments for the erection of impenetrable walls, designed to isolate us from the world and our fellow humans. Rather, they serve as the very delineations of where our responsibilities rightfully conclude, and where, conversely, our inner peace and tranquility rightfully begin. Setting boundaries is, in essence, a process of coming to a profound understanding of precisely what you value most deeply, and then making an unwavering commitment to protecting those values with diligence and care. Thus, you become the guardian of your own time, your own energy, and your own emotional well-being. For example, if one of your foremost values is family time, establishing a boundary could mean resolutely not checking work emails during the precious moments of dinner. Alternatively, if personal growth holds a position of priority in your life, perhaps you might delineate a boundary around your morning hours to dedicate them to reading or meditation. The critical element here is recognizing that these aren't merely preferences, they are, in fact, non-negotiable components of your daily existence that empower you to live in complete accordance with your deeply held values. The very act of setting boundaries can frequently evoke feelings of discomfort, particularly if you are unaccustomed to asserting your own needs and desires. You might, understandably, find yourself worrying about the potential reactions of others, or even harbor the fear of being perceived as selfish. However, it is essential to remember that Stoicism is fundamentally not about seeking the approval of others or conforming to societal expectations. Rather, it is about cultivating a life centered around virtue and unwavering personal integrity. The Stoics would passionately argue that by conscientiously respecting your own limitations, you become significantly better equipped to wholeheartedly fulfill your role within society and contribute in far more meaningful and profound ways. Therefore, setting boundaries is not selfish, it's a critical component of self-respect and ultimately societal contribution. To embark on the journey of setting effective boundaries, commence with small, easily manageable changes. Communicate your clearly defined limits respectfully and with complete transparency, while consciously avoiding the temptation to over-explain or unduly justify them. Remember, your personal boundaries are a declaration of your self-worth and a vital component of your overall well-being, consequently deserving of respect and understanding from yourself and others. Therefore, starting small allows you to build confidence and gradually refine your boundaries as you navigate various situations and relationships. Don't be afraid to adjust them as your needs evolve, ensuring they remain aligned with your values and promote a fulfilling and balanced life. It suffices to simply declare, "I am not available at that time," or perhaps, "I need to pass on this particular project to dedicate my attention to my existing responsibilities." As you diligently practice these phrases, you'll discover that articulating them becomes increasingly effortless. Furthermore, most individuals will undoubtedly respect your candor and straightforwardness. Another effective Stoic strategy involves regularly reflecting upon your interactions and examining how consistently they adhere to your established boundaries. Take into consideration those moments when you experienced feelings of resentment or overwhelming exhaustion. These potent emotions frequently serve as clear indicators that your carefully crafted boundaries are, in fact, being transgressed. Leverage these valuable insights to meticulously adjust your boundaries as necessary, always maintaining the overarching objective of safeguarding your precious time and vital energy for those endeavors that genuinely hold profound significance. Ultimately, the act of setting boundaries fundamentally revolves around embracing personal responsibility for your own life and, crucially, for your own happiness. It represents a powerful and unwavering assertion of your inherent worth and your carefully considered priorities. And, while it may initially present certain challenges, the more consistently you engage in this practice, the more organically and naturally it will begin to feel. Over the passage of time, you will undoubtedly observe a profound and noticeable shift in your stress levels, accompanied by a corresponding improvement in your overall sense of well-being and happiness. You will find yourself possessing an abundance of energy to devote to the activities and passions that you truly cherish, cultivating deeper and more meaningful connections with others, and experiencing a significantly heightened sense of control and agency over the direction of your own life. Therefore, remember that establishing boundaries is not merely a practical skill to be acquired, rather, it is a deeply rooted Stoic practice that fundamentally enhances your capacity to lead a purposeful and genuinely peaceful existence. It is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment that allows you to navigate the complexities of life with greater clarity, resilience, and ultimately, fulfillment. It's about creating a life that resonates with your values and protects your inner peace, leading to a more authentic and joyful you. Embrace the challenge, and you'll be amazed at the transformative power of boundaries. By truly acknowledging and respecting your individual needs and personal limitations, you are not merely demonstrating self-respect. In fact, you are actively cultivating fertile ground for nurturing healthier and much more respectful relationships with those around you. This is because understanding your boundaries allows you to communicate them effectively, fostering mutual understanding and preventing resentment. It's undeniably tempting, isn't it? When difficulties arise, perhaps a project suffers an unfortunate setback or a cherished relationship begins to falter, the instinct to direct blame toward external circumstances or other individuals emerges almost instantaneously. We have all undoubtedly experienced this urge, shaking our heads in bewildered frustration and lamenting, if only the situation had unfolded differently. However, consider this potentially game-altering perspective. What course of action might we take if, instead of automatically attributing blame to external influences, we deliberately paused, took a step backward, and critically assessed our own contribution to the unfolding situation? This introspection represents precisely the essence of what Stoicism encourages us to embrace, assuming complete ownership of our lives, not by engaging in self-reproach or self-condemnation, but rather by exercising our inherent responsibility. Stoicism profoundly elucidates the immense power derived from concentrating solely on those elements that lie squarely within our sphere of influence. While the external world is undeniably characterized by its inherent unpredictability and frequently presents daunting challenges, our individual reactions and subsequent actions unequivocally remain our unwavering responsibility. Although this concept may initially appear somewhat intimidating or even discouraging, there exists an immeasurable reservoir of inner strength and unparalleled freedom to be discovered in the profound realization that you, and only you, are the chief architect of your own life, the master of your own destiny. Therefore, by embracing this philosophy, you unlock the potential to navigate life's complexities with resilience and purpose. Embracing personal responsibility marks a pivotal transformation. It propels you from a passive observer, merely subjected to the whims of fate, to an active architect, meticulously crafting your own destiny. To genuinely take ownership signifies a profound acknowledgement. Your choices, your responses, and, crucially, your underlying mindset collectively exert a significant influence on the unfolding narrative of your life. Consider, for example, the situation where you experience dissatisfaction in your current employment. Instead of simply bemoaning what you perceive as unfortunate circumstances in securing that position, proactively investigate the potential avenues for improvement and positive change. Could you, perhaps, embark on a journey to acquire new skills, thus broadening your professional capabilities? Might you actively pursue a more suitable role that better aligns with your aspirations and talents? Or, indeed, could you initiate a constructive dialogue with your manager, exploring possible adjustments within your existing role that could significantly improve your overall work experience? The Stoic philosophy, far from advocating passive resignation, champions a proactive and engaged approach when facing life's inevitable challenges. Therefore, by taking ownership, you are not surrendering to fate, but rather actively shaping it. A fundamentally important aspect of personal responsibility also involves acknowledging and owning up to your inevitable missteps. We all commit errors. Frankly, this imperfection is intrinsically linked to our shared humanity. However, the critical distinction lies not in the act of making mistakes, but rather in the manner in which we address and rectify them. Do we choose to conveniently ignore them, perhaps deflecting blame onto others to avoid accountability? Or do we instead confront them head-on with courage and honesty, extracting valuable lessons from the experience and allowing it to foster personal growth? The Stoic philosophers would unequivocally advocate for the latter approach. They viewed each mistake not as a failure, but rather as a golden opportunity for learning and self-improvement, a valuable stepping stone on the path towards becoming a wiser, more resilient, and ultimately, more capable individual. Thus, embrace your errors as lessons, not liabilities. Furthermore, taking ownership encompasses the vital skill of effectively managing your expectations. This means understanding what is within your control and what is not, and focusing your energy on influencing the aspects of your life where you can realistically make a difference. This realistic perspective allows you to avoid unnecessary disappointment and cultivate a more balanced and fulfilling existence. The Stoics, those ancient masters of emotional fortitude, champion a practice known as premeditation of evils. This isn't some exercise in gloomy pessimism, rather, it's a profoundly practical technique where you mentally rehearse potential challenges and setbacks that life might throw your way. Think of it as mental preparation, a strategic anticipation of adversity. The goal isn't to dwell on negativity, but to steel yourself for the inevitable realities of existence. Thus, when difficulties inevitably materialize, they won't completely knock you off course. Consequently, you'll be better equipped to confront them with unwavering resilience and a clear, focused mind. But, you might ask, how does one begin integrating this powerful tool into their daily existence? The answer lies in consistent self-reflection. Start by regularly taking stock of your day or your week. Pose searching questions to yourself: what transpired successfully, and what factors contributed to that positive outcome? Conversely, what went awry, and how might my own actions have contributed to that less than ideal result? And, most importantly, what adjustments can I make in the future to achieve a more desirable outcome? This process of reflection should not be an exercise in harsh self-judgment. Its true purpose is self-improvement and empowerment. It's about seizing control of the reins of your life and skillfully steering it in the precise direction you aspire to travel. This mindful introspection allows you to learn from your experiences and refine your approach. Remember, taking ownership of your actions and your life is a daily practice, a continuous commitment. It's comprised of a series of conscious choices you make each and every day. Every single time you consciously choose to accept responsibility for your actions, both positive and negative, you progressively strengthen your inherent ability to shape your own life's narrative. You cultivate resilience, build unshakable confidence, and nurture a deep-seated sense of inner peace that arises from the profound knowledge that you are living with unwavering integrity and a clear sense of purpose. This conscious ownership is the cornerstone of a meaningful and fulfilling existence. So, the next time you find yourself unexpectedly navigating a particularly challenging or stressful situation, remember to pause for a moment and remind yourself, I possess the inherent power to choose how this unfolds. I have the agency to respond with wisdom and strength. By embracing this Stoic principle, you can transform adversity into an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. This awareness empowers you to navigate life's inevitable storms with grace and unwavering resolve. In short, the Stoics' premeditation of evils is a pathway to a more resilient and fulfilling life. I can't control everything, but I can always control what I do next. This powerful assertion isn't merely transformative, it is profoundly Stoic. Consequently, it situates you definitively in the driver's seat of your own existence, a position radiating genuine power. Have you ever observed the severity with which we sometimes judge ourselves? Indeed, we frequently subject ourselves to unattainable ideals, and when, inevitably, we fail to meet them, the inner critic rejoices in its dominance. You messed up. You're not good enough. Why even try? Does this internal dialogue resonate with your experience? But here is a revitalizing notion. Imagine treating ourselves with the same empathy and understanding we readily extend to a cherished friend. It is here that the principle of self-compassion enters the arena, a principle remarkably intertwined with Stoic philosophy, believe it or not. Stoicism may outwardly appear to be solely about resilience and fortitude, however, at its very heart, it also encompasses being gentle and forgiving towards oneself through the application of rational thought. The Stoics astutely understood that making mistakes is an intrinsic part of the human condition, and that relentlessly criticizing ourselves over errors ultimately benefits no one. Instead, they championed the idea of observing our actions with objectivity, approaching failures as precious opportunities for growth and learning. Therefore, by adopting a more compassionate approach to ourselves, we can navigate the challenges of life with greater resilience and self-awareness, embodying the true spirit of Stoicism. It's about accepting our imperfections and striving to learn and improve, rather than dwelling on past mistakes with self-recrimination. This, in turn, fosters a more positive and productive mindset, allowing us to face future challenges with greater confidence and equanimity. Self-compassion, in its truest essence, represents a profound shift. It's about transitioning from a deeply ingrained mindset of relentless self-criticism to one characterized by unwavering encouragement and unwavering support. This transformation is not merely a change in thought, it's a fundamental realignment of our inner dialogue. The journey of practicing self-compassion commences with a deliberate alteration in the way we communicate with ourselves. To illustrate, envision a scenario where you've committed an error. Instead of descending into a vortex of self-reproach and harsh judgment, take a moment to pause and introspectively inquire, what words would I offer a cherished friend if they were in this very predicament? More than likely, you would extend words of solace, understanding, and genuine encouragement. Now, the crucial step is to direct those very same words, that same level of kindness, toward yourself. This seemingly simple shift, this conscious act of self-compassion, can profoundly alter your emotional response to the situation. Consequently, it serves as a powerful antidote to anxiety and depression, effectively clearing the path for a healthier, more balanced, and ultimately more optimistic outlook on life. This is because, by treating ourselves with the same kindness we'd extend to a friend, we begin to dismantle the negative self-talk that fuels those debilitating emotions. Furthermore, self-compassion inherently involves the recognition that suffering and personal failure are not unique anomalies but rather integral components of the shared human experience. It's a powerful reminder that you are not isolated in your struggles, even though, in the throes of difficulty, it often feels profoundly that way. The truth is that everyone, without exception, encounters setbacks, confronts challenges, and experiences moments of failure. By consciously acknowledging this universality, this shared tapestry of human experience, you can cultivate a deeper sense of connection with others, especially during moments of perceived inadequacy. Instead of feeling isolated and alienated by your failures, you're able to recognize that you're part of something larger, a collective journey of growth and resilience. This perspective, this understanding of our shared humanity, forms a cornerstone of Stoic thought, reminding us that adversity is not a personal indictment but a universal condition. They underscore the profound interconnectedness inherent in the human experience, advocating for enduring life's inevitable trials and tribulations with unwavering dignity and remarkable grace. Indeed, this perspective champions a resilient spirit in the face of adversity. Furthermore, a crucial facet of self-compassion lies in the practice of mindfulness. This entails cultivating a state of complete presence with one's emotions, without becoming unduly entangled or defined by them. Mindfulness, therefore, instructs us to observe our negative thoughts and emotions with a sense of detachment, akin to an impartial observer looking in from the outside. From this more objective vantage point, we are empowered to recognize our feelings for precisely what they are, transient occurrences that do not, in any way, diminish our intrinsic worth or inherent capabilities. The Stoics, notably, were ardent proponents of employing mindfulness as a tool to maintain emotional equilibrium, diligently focusing on the present moment and adopting a logical, reasoned perspective regarding events and their consequential impacts. They understood the power of perception in shaping emotional responses. To actively foster self-compassion within oneself, one can endeavor to allocate dedicated time for regular, thoughtful reflection. At the close of each day, take a moment to reflect on the events that transpired, pinpointing specific instances where you found yourself being unduly harsh or critical toward yourself. Subsequently, contemplate alternative approaches for handling similar situations in the future, embracing a demeanor of greater kindness and understanding. In addition to this reflective practice, integrating complementary activities such as journaling or engaging in meditation can significantly enhance your overall self-awareness and bolster your capacity to effectively apply self-compassion when confronted with real-time challenges. These practices build a foundation of inner strength. Practicing self-compassion, crucially, is not about indulging in self-pity or coddling oneself in the face of difficulty. Instead, it is fundamentally about acknowledging the shared human condition, accepting one's own imperfections and shortcomings as inherent aspects of that condition, and treating oneself with the same degree of unwavering respect and genuine kindness that one would readily extend to others. This includes understanding that mistakes are opportunities for growth and learning. It's about fostering a supportive inner dialogue rather than a critical one. Therefore, self-compassion is a powerful tool for building resilience and fostering overall well-being. It is fundamentally about cultivating the capacity to be your own steadfast ally during periods of adversity, a concept that resonates profoundly with Stoic principles concerning self-mastery and unwavering resilience. Indeed, this alignment highlights the importance of inner strength in navigating life's inevitable storms. Therefore, the next occasion you observe yourself engaging in self-criticism, remember to offer yourself the same degree of understanding and compassion you would readily extend to a cherished friend. This deliberate shift in perspective not only cultivates a more harmonious and nurturing relationship with yourself, but it also substantially enhances your overall resilience, equipping you to confront life's multifaceted challenges with augmented composure and self-assurance. This, in turn, allows you to approach difficulties with a more centered and effective mindset. Is it not demonstrably true that the more one delves into the vast expanse of knowledge, the more acutely one becomes aware of the immeasurable extent of what remains unknown? This profound realization should not be interpreted as a source of discouragement. Conversely, it is intended to ignite a fervent curiosity and a deep appreciation for the boundless reservoir of knowledge that life so generously offers. This perspective is the very essence of a genuine, lifelong learning journey. It is not merely about accumulating information, as one might fill a bucket, but rather about kindling an internal flame, a fire fueled by insatiable curiosity, profound understanding, and continuous personal growth. This core principle is deeply embedded in Stoic philosophy, wherein the relentless pursuit of wisdom is regarded as an indispensable component of living a virtuous and fulfilling existence. Furthermore, the Stoics firmly believe that formal education does not conclude upon graduation. Instead, it extends seamlessly through each and every day of our lives, providing constant opportunities for learning and self-improvement. This continuous learning is not seen as a burden, but rather as a privilege and a pathway to a more meaningful and enriched existence. Thus, one can see how cultivating self-compassion and embracing lifelong learning, in alignment with Stoic tenets, contributes to a more resilient and fulfilling life. They perceive each and every experience, encompassing both triumphs and occasional difficulties, as invaluable opportunities to acquire profound wisdom and inner strength. For these individuals, the ongoing process of learning transcends mere acquisition of knowledge. It fundamentally entails a continual adaptation and refinement of one's inherent character, coupled with an ever-deepening comprehension of the intricacies of the world around us. This journey is characterized by an unwavering openness to embracing novel ideas, diverse perspectives, and unforeseen challenges that possess the remarkable capacity to reshape the very foundations of what we believe we already know. Envision yourself confronted by a daunting situation that completely throws you off your game. Perhaps it's a newly assigned role at work that feels far beyond your current capabilities, or perhaps it's a deeply personal challenge that relentlessly tests the very limits of your endurance and fortitude. The Stoic approach, in such circumstances, is decidedly not to shy away from these uncomfortable moments, but rather to deliberately lean into them, embracing the discomfort and potential for growth. Stoics view such trials and tribulations as the perfect classroom, real-life situations where theoretical knowledge is rigorously put to the test and practical wisdom is diligently developed through direct experience. Therefore, failure is not feared, but rather seen as a stepping stone. To wholeheartedly embrace this empowering mindset, begin viewing each and every day as a valuable school day, teeming with potential learning opportunities. Consciously ask yourself what invaluable lessons you can actively draw from each unique experience that unfolds before you. Did a particularly difficult conversation teach you something profound about the virtues of patience or the art of effective communication? What did a significant setback teach you about the indispensable qualities of resilience or the meticulous practice of thoughtful planning? Consider how one might transform a seeming defeat into a victory. Thus, by actively seeking out these valuable lessons, one cultivates a growth-oriented mindset, constantly evolving and learning from the rich tapestry of life's experiences. Actively seeking the lesson embedded within each and every experience serves as a powerful catalyst, transforming even the most mundane occurrences into profoundly meaningful learning moments. This proactive approach allows us to unearth hidden gems of wisdom, converting everyday interactions into valuable opportunities for personal growth and intellectual enrichment. Thus, we actively cultivate a mindset of continuous learning. Another key element, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, is to remain humble in the face of your knowledge. The Stoics issue a stark warning against the insidious nature of arrogance, emphasizing that true wisdom fundamentally involves acknowledging the very limits of one's own comprehension. In other words, recognizing what you don't know is just as crucial as what you do know. This cultivated humility, therefore, unlocks the door to learning from absolutely everyone and every situation you encounter. It fundamentally means prioritizing listening over speaking, diligently asking questions, and maintaining a genuinely open disposition toward new information, even, and perhaps especially, when it challenges your pre-existing beliefs and ingrained perspectives. Embracing this intellectual modesty allows for continuous self-improvement and a more nuanced understanding of the world. To effectively put this into practice, endeavor to diversify the sources from which you glean knowledge and understanding. Explore the vast landscape of literature by reading books from genres or by authors you wouldn't typically consider within your usual reading habits. Actively engage in thoughtful conversations with individuals from diverse backgrounds or holding viewpoints that differ markedly from your own. Attend workshops or seminars on topics that lie outside of your current comfort zone or area of expertise. Each of these deliberate actions serves to significantly broaden your perspective, deepen your comprehension of the world's complexities, and foster a more empathetic and well-rounded understanding of humanity. Furthermore, Stoicism profoundly teaches us the paramount importance of deliberate reflection in the learning process. It is decidedly not sufficient to simply consume information passively, rather, you must actively digest it, analyze it critically, and thoughtfully integrate it into the fabric of your daily life. This process of introspection allows for a deeper understanding and lasting application of newly acquired knowledge. Consequently, by reflecting on our experiences, we transform information into genuine wisdom and meaningfully incorporate it into our lives. Therefore, cultivate a habit of reflective thinking. Embracing a Stoic life necessitates a commitment to continuous growth and relentless learning from each and every experience. This dedication could manifest in allocating time each week, perhaps even a designated hour or two, for profound reflection. During this period, you would contemplate the knowledge you've gleaned and, crucially, how it can be practically applied to both your personal aspirations and your professional endeavors. Journaling, in particular, serves as an exceptionally potent tool in this context. It allows you to meticulously record illuminating insights, chart the trajectory of your personal and professional development over time, and revisit those pivotal moments of understanding. Therefore, adopting a lifelong learning mindset transcends the mere acquisition of facts and figures. It is fundamentally about continually evolving as a person, transforming yourself into a more adaptable, thoughtful, and ultimately, more effective human being in all your actions and decisions. As you wholeheartedly commit to never ceasing your learning journey, you'll discover that not only do you accumulate a wealth of knowledge, but you also cultivate a deeper sense of compassion, understanding, and resilience. You'll become better equipped to navigate whatever challenges life may unexpectedly throw your way. So, steadfastly keep that inner fire of curiosity burning brightly. Let each day present itself as a fresh and exciting opportunity to learn something entirely new, and allow each hard-earned lesson to mold and shape you into a better, more well-rounded individual, someone who is constantly striving for improvement. In the very spirit of Stoicism, fully embrace the lifelong learning journey as a definitive pathway to personal excellence and, ultimately, to a truly fulfilling and meaningful life. And there you have it, the very essence of living a Stoic life unfolds before you, continuously growing, adapting, and voraciously learning from each and every experience that comes your way, thereby forging a path towards wisdom, resilience, and lasting happiness. Recall that each passing day presents an opportunity for learning, and each challenge offers a chance to progress. Therefore, embrace every moment as a step forward. We extend our sincere gratitude for your invaluable contribution to the. Your engagement and support are deeply valued. Should you desire to immerse yourself more profoundly in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, we invite you to explore the recommended videos displayed on your screen. These curated resources offer further insights and practical guidance for cultivating a more resilient and fulfilling life. Consequently, let us remain committed to continuous learning and collective growth. By embracing the principles of Stoicism, we can navigate life's complexities with greater equanimity and purpose. We encourage you to remain a part of the community.